So finally, we get Death Stranding.
What took you so long?
It's been about 9 days now since it's released. I've been playing it non-stop. Matter of fact, it's kept other games like Luigi's Mansion, Pokemon in the wrapper still. I haven't gotten a chance to really play anything outside of it. It's even put Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the back burner. All of my free time, all of my downtime goes towards this game. If you want to see me play it, every time I play it, I do stream it. Stream handle below, plucka1 at twitchtv.com. If that's not it, then it's something close to it. I don't know. You've seen this shit down below. You know what it was. But yeah, so this is not going to be any spoilers. I'm not doing any type of spoilers. I'm not doing any type of theories on what I think the story is or what I think is happening. I'm not doing any of that. I want to keep the game pure for anyone who is currently playing it and just kind of wanted to see a discussion about it, or for anyone who hasn't played it and maybe just wants to know about, the gameplay mechanics and maybe what to expect coming into the game if you aren't familiar with Hideo Kojima or his other Metal Gear Solid games. Now, I've seen a lot of the gripe for this game being that it is extremely slow paced. And I feel like that maybe a lot of people, since we all know Kojima is known for his Metal Gear Solid series, that maybe we felt like it would be paced as a Metal Gear Solid game. Now, Metal Gear Solids are not sold by any means as being like an action adventure type. Matter of fact, it's a stealth genre game, but yet it does still have action sequences all throughout the game, but they do kind of hide behind the veil of stealth. So you're not guns blazing all the time, but it is action based on stealthily moving around before you actually perform that action, if that makes any sense. Death Stranding doesn't even have that. Death Stranding, it is very, from what I've played anyway, is very much about you not having those action interactions. Yeah. But yeah, that's what it's about. You, in Metal Gear Solid, you're stealthy in order to perform an action. In Death Stranding, you're stealthy so you don't have to perform an action. You are only trying to get from point A to point B, or maybe if you're doing multiple deliveries, point A to B to C, and then finally at D. So I think maybe that took a lot of people for a spin, and they really weren't expecting this kind of game. It's definitely different. It took a little getting used to. It was kind of slow paced even for me, knowing what I was coming into, knowing what I was expecting, and knowing nothing about the story, nothing really about what the game really is. So yeah, I mean, obviously everyone knows that you're a glorified Amazon delivery person who holds an obscene amount of cargo on your back, and it's your job to take it from one place to another in order to help the civilians, the people that are stuck at that location, bring them supplies or just media or whatever it is you're delivering to that location. Now, when it comes to graphics for this game, the graphics are great. Graphics are amazing, especially when you first start playing the game and you get some of those sequences where they pull back on the camera and really allow you to see the vast open world that you're going to be exploring. Honestly, when I first seen it, and based on like me just walking with all this cargo, I was like, oh my God, these are going to be some long trips. And these trips are long. Sometimes it can take you anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to get from one point to another point, depending on where you start and finish at. That I feel like can wear on people and can definitely make you not play the game as long, because you can almost make like that one trek across the whole place you're at that you start off at and feel like almost like you delivered it personally. Like it kind of wears on you. So you may feel like you got there and then you kind of want to sit the game off to the side. Me just knowing kind of how Kojima has been in the past, especially with his stories. Again, we're not talking about the story itself, but just the premise of how he wraps his stories up in his games. You start off not knowing much. For the Metal Gear Solid games, you always do know kind of the end game. You know, you're after the Metal Gear that's there 9 times out of 10. So you do know what the end goal is. In Death Stranding, you don't even know what the end goal is. You just know you're delivering packages, but you're not really sure why. You're not really sure what this has to do with the grand scheme of things. So you don't even get the benefit of knowing the end game when you begin the game. And I think that is what kind of confused a lot of people, and having really nothing to go off, nothing to understand about the story starting off keeps you so confused at the beginning that you may or may not want to play through all that confusion and all that unknown until I would say it usually takes about the 50 to maybe 65-70% mark of the game for a Hideo Kojima game, until it really starts to spill its secrets onto you, to where the people that you interact with in the story, the cutscenes, they really start to tell you what is actually going on, what is actually happening, and why they are actually having you do what you're doing. Because anyone who's played a Metal Gear Solid game knows that whatever they told you at the beginning usually is not the case. Usually there's always a hard left turn in a Kojima game. So knowing that, I'm waiting for that in Death Stranding. I know that it has to be something sneaky about these packages. I don't know what it is. I never trust anyone at the beginning, just because you get screwed over so much in the Metal Gear Solid games by the people who's supposed to be on your side, that I know some kind of way these people are going to screw you. I could be in for a rude awakening. Maybe Kojima changed this one completely differently. I don't know, but all of that unknown is actually what drives me to play the game. But it's only because I have such a backlog of Metal Gear Solid games and an experience with those storylines that I kind of am excited to see where this goes. So if you don't have that, I could see where it would just kind of be so confusing to you, to where it would almost uninterest you in a way, because you have nothing to go off. Now, the music for this game, I'm really upset, because I would love to play the music and just show you just how amazing the music sounds. And it's not just how it sounds, because you can have a great soundtrack, but if you misplace where you insert those said sounds or music or whatever you want to call it, if you misplace where they go throughout the game, it can ruin it. You know, if you are in a stealth mode and you have like this really calm, like waterfall falling sound music, and you're like, that doesn't really fit it. I need something a little more tension to it. You know, maybe a little more build up or something that kind of really gets the juices flowing while you're sneaking around. But these songs that they use, it's great. It is great. It just works with the environment so well, and it's probably my favorite soundtrack for a game that I've ever played. You can tell that a lot of money went into the whole production of the soundtrack for this game, and a lot of thought went into where to use what. One good thing about the music is that when you play it, well, not when you play it, but when it gets played when you're playing, it's like a safe haven. You're almost excited to hear the music, because you're like, okay, like I've made it, or at least I can just kind of take a step back and just casually play through this part. Because when the music's playing, it's almost like it's showing you the beauty of the game, of the environment, or maybe just the desolence of certain areas. I guess that's a good word to use there, but it's done perfectly, and I can't say I have no critiques on the music at all. So big thumbs up to everyone who was involved with it. But yeah, so great job. Kudos on the music. Now, gameplay, like I said earlier, it can feel slow. As you progress through the game, you do get certain items that do help you move around a little faster. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but it does allow you to travel the world a little better. It also helps you get from point A to point B. Like I said, maybe point C and D, depending on how many deliveries you have to make, a little faster. Nothing too fast, nothing to where it's really, making it super simple to get to a faraway place. It's not going to be simple, but it will speed up your journey some. Like say if it took 15 minutes on foot for you to get there, if you use these other certain items, you could get there in 2/3 the time, maybe half the time fastest. But it does help, and it does help alleviate some of that fatigue you might get from going to a far off place. Sometimes the places are so far away that it will actually discourage you from even making that delivery, especially if it's not really in your, I guess, if it doesn't benefit you the most, you won't make that trek. Speaking of benefiting you, the whole like-based currency in this game is very crazy. It feels very social media-ish. It feels like they almost pulled in social media from what we do now. You have your Instagram and your Facebook and even what you're on now, YouTube, this whole like-based system to where, you get thumbs up and it kind of helps get your videos out there. If you're on YouTube, kind of helps you get blessed by the algorithm god. Instagram, more likes obviously means you're a very important person. I think we all understand that. But yeah, so they incorporate that as well. Now, when you're on a server with other individuals, you never see these people, but things they build, things they construct throughout your server world, they're there. And in order to kind of give them that, hey man, thanks for leaving this behind, or thanks for making this for me because it really helped me out, maybe get from point A to point B, or maybe it helped me cross this ravine that I didn't know how I was going to get past, you can give them a like. Now that like helps them, and it also helps level them up as their courier status. And when you level up the courier status, obviously you are able to carry more things, and it's just stuff like that. You're kind of leveling yourself up as a parcel delivery person, for lack of a better word. So that system actually does work really well. You would think that it wouldn't, but somehow not even being able to see other people or interact with them at all. Like you can't type anything to them. You can't speak with them. There's no connection really between you and that other person in your server other than what you leave behind. But yet it makes people really want to help. Like I find myself leaving tons of things behind, whether it's ropes, ladders, bridges, generators, whatever it is. I do find myself leaving a lot behind because I'm like, man, it was a pain getting across this. Good thing I built this. The next guy coming, he's going to really be happy that he didn't have to go through what I went through. I almost paved the way for his life to be easier. So that I don't know why that makes you feel good, but it does. So kudos to Kojima for that. How he pulled that off, I'll never know. You do have the ability to break down structures. So if you build a bridge, you can collapse it. You can collapse other people's structures, but it does not destroy it in their game. The other people in that server won't be able to use it, but if you made the bridge, it'll always be there as long as you aren't the one who decides to collapse it. So that was a good safety net, because it's like, well, at least if I'm the one who built it, I want to be able to use it as much as I want until I decide that it doesn't get used anymore. So I guess I kind of want to wrap this up. Like I said, I didn't want to delve too much into the story. Really, I didn't want to touch the story at all. I want to keep it pure. I want to keep it innocent. You could throw all your jokes in there right there. But for everyone who hasn't played it or who is currently playing it. And it's kind of hard to review a game like this without going into the story, because the story is the game. So like I said, if you're not used to Metal Gear Solid games, if you haven't played them, I beg of you to just kind of push through this beginning phase, push through it, get past it. I know it's probably going to be confusing. You're not going to know why you're doing what you're doing. Don't feel bad. None of us do. But I feel really confident that this story is going to be something of legend. Like, this is going to go down probably as one of the greatest stories ever put into a video game. And I feel, like I said, I feel really confident behind that statement that is going to happen. I don't know. I just have high hopes for this game. I would be devastated if I got to the end and I felt like I wasted my time, or I felt like it didn't reach that climactic point that I expected to. So like I said, please just get through the beginning. You get to that halfway point, or maybe even the 60 to 70% point. You're really going to start to understand the game. You're going to know what is going on. And I really feel like that you'll look back and be happy that you got through that beginning confusion stage, because where you are now is freaking amazing. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion about Death Stranding that we just had. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell if you want to know when we post new stuff. I'm sure me and the other guys of Almost in Full Color will definitely appreciate it if you do. But if not, then don't. Don't feel like you have to sub if you don't want to. That's your decision. We still cool. We still cool, bro. But yeah, so hey, with that, I'm out.
That was perfect.